Hi, welcome back to Freedom Radio Bournemouth for the 21st of April 2012. My guest this week is a good friend of mine, Chris of the family Kettle. Hello, Chris.
Hello there.
How you doing?
Chris, as commonly called of the family Kettle, to be precise.
Is Chris as
commonly called of the family Kettle.
Okay, why did you choose to use your name like that then?
Well, because people call me all sorts. I have other names. I'm not fixed to using my government name.
Okay. So you'd like to talk about a few things today. All right.
Well, yeah, the main things I wanted to talk about really was government deceptions in general, because there are so many lies out there that people just don't realise.
Yeah, there is.
And they're so obvious and in your face. And
yeah, but you see the lie is so big.
Oh yeah,
it covers itself.
It's
up.
Obvious once you're aware to these things. It's once you come out of the trance the government put you in really for using medium and whatnot.
Yeah.
It becomes quite obvious.
Yeah. So you've been a resident of Bournemouth for a few years now?
About 9 years.
9 years, and you've and obviously there's stuff going on in Bournemouth with the council locally lately. We've just had the BCCA eviction, and there's a big movement following that. It's something that Bournemouth or Boscombe has never seen before. It's quite extraordinary. Have you had much to do with the Boscombe Arts Centre and the BCCA?
I have indeed. Yeah, I like to play quite a keen involvement really with what's going on in my local community. I've always picked on Bournemouth Council as one of my prime targets really because of the fact they're so nearby to me. So I've been gladly attending the BCCA and helping them out. I was proud to defend them in court or attempt to defend them in court, despite all the cover-ups from the council. And so yes, it's been quite an eye-opener really.
Okay, so you've chosen to get on the council's case about certain things. Obviously, you've got a legitimate reason for.
Certainly, I mean, I think the councils don't like me at all. They'd rather I was gone. I'm just a nuisance to them, apparently.
All right.
Just raising attention, getting people protesting at court cases. Obviously, seems to get their noses up a bit.
Yeah. So you've brought a few tracks along with you as well this week.
I have. I've brought by request a couple of tunes that I think are appropriate. So some of the things I want to talk about.
Okay. Shall we put one on now?
Yeah.
Which one would you like to put on?
If we could put on it's by an artist called Filthy. It's an independent record label called Global Faction, and they're doing some amazing work, recording some amazing videos. It's called Filthy, by Filthy and Taking Liberties. There's also a documentary that's well worth watching called Taking Liberties regarding Tony Blair. So yeah, if you'd like to put that on, that'd be great.
Okay, I'll put it on now. Here it is.
Since the tragedy of 9/11, the Patriot Act, along with several executive orders authorized by our government, demonstrates potential for devastating our fundamental liberties, the very rights and freedoms that our government professes to be protecting in their fight against.
Right one, that's the freedom of speech, freedom to preach in the streets like you got something to teach. Now every day I look around and I don't like what I see. I wanna be free, but can't escape without the freedom to speak. Now let's take a look at history, at the likes of Gandhi, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, J.F. Kennedy. Where would we be if they didn't have the energy to point at the problems cause they didn't have the remedy? Man, I need some therapy, someone call my therapist. According to the government, everyone's a terrorist. Another stop and search under section 44 of the seriously organised terrorism laws. When the government went back in for the terrorism wars, front page of the Sun brings a terror to your doors. I wrote the government a letter just to tell them I'm a fool. They wrote me back a letter calling me a rebel with a cause. Next be the right to peacefully it protest. But nowadays you need permission just to go west end. Picket line behind the protest fence. Now wait till 3 o'clock and you can protest then. Here come the stormtroopers keeping the peace. Here you reckon in 3 seconds you be seeing police weapons. The streets heckle, I ain't living on these shekels till police settle. We're not here to be kettled. To protesting is bad. How you say that with no facts? Protests are marching, tore down the poll tax. Too many throwbacks. Tell me you suffragette. Let's fight for our liberties like the lady suffragettes. We suffer threats every day. The subliminal lie. Feel like the census will get labelled a criminal. Now I've come to my senses and I've studied the facts. You need consent from the governed for your government acts, which brings me to right 3, the right to privacy, the right not to be monitored by closer TV. Nowadays people get paid to invade our privacy, but who's watching the watchers if the watchers watching me? See, the powers that be have been on a mission to usher through an age of totalitarianism. I'm sick of division, all about knowledge and wisdom. Go to Google and type in panopticon prison. Now I've got no love for these top politicians that wanna take our liberties and give us conditions. We're all living in a state of suspicion. So up go more video cameras with face recognition. When the mainstream media abuse their power, chief police resign cause they choose to cower. Glenn Mulcair was the name of the silly little prowler, paid by news of the road to hack missing Mealy Dollar. Now the next liberty be in the eyes of the law. Everybody's innocent or proven guilty. Been accused of a crime, it don't matter what it be. Everybody's got the right to a judge and jury. Declaration of Rights 1689 defines a fixed penalty as an illegal fine. One day you got a speeding ticket, so I wrote them back. I know my rights, so you know where to stick it. Now you say we're free, now mate, you're kidding me. Go watch a documentary taking liberties, or do some research on old English charters like the Bill of Rights and the Magna Carta. I feel a revolution's here at last. It's time to unite and fight and just kick some ass. Or one day in the future your kids were lost. Where were you when our liberties were ripped apart?
Yeah, that's wicked, that, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Where can I get that song, Chris? Where can I get it?
Well, they don't. You can't buy it. It's not for sale or anything like that. They'd rather give it away and allow as many people to enjoy it and listen to the message as possible, really. But you can certainly listen to it on my website. You can listen to it on YouTube. If you type in Global Faction, you can find the record label. They also have globalfaction.com. Or you can listen to it on my website, like I say, at truthproject.co.uk. And there are about 180 artists on there, all free to listen to and download. I mean, it's a great way of getting the message out, rather than people listening to all this commercial music.
You've got a lot more than music on your website, though.
I do, yeah. I, for example, I've got template letters. I help people out with debt collectors, and fixed penalty notices and penalty charge notices to enable people to chase off the debt collectors. A lot of people are finding themselves in trouble financially.
Is there a lot people can do when they get the debt collector's letters? Because I know it does put you into fear straight away when you look on your mat in the morning and you find some red letters.
But I mean, of course, the legal side of it though is that when a debt collector gets involved, when people are getting chased by companies that they've never heard of before, they have no contract with these companies. These companies have just muscled in on the agreement. Have paid off your debt. They bought it for some small amount, £5-10, say, some nominal amount, and then they're chasing you for the money, and they want interest, they want extra on top of it.
Yeah.
And you know, if it was a situation with a friend, and I paid off a friend's debts without consulting them first, and then ordered that they pay me instead with interest on top, you know, the first thing I should have done was to consult them and find out that they actually owe the debt first. You know, this sort of thing doesn't happen.
It does sound very gangster, doesn't it? Somebody buying a debt.
Of course. I mean, these bailiffs have no authority to enter the premises. You know, as long as you don't leave a door and a window open, they can't come in. So I just try and, you know, make people realise that they need to feed themselves rather than paying off these debts that they can't pay. At the end of the day, it's a system that's got people into this consumer lifestyle where they need to buy things in order to fit in, and they need the latest clothes and they need the latest car and whatnot. From all the adverts on TV.
The trappings.
That's right, and I just want people to be able to break free from that and break free from the control that they have over them.
Yeah,
many people don't even see that control, so the first step is for them to actually realise the amount of control that's over them.
Mm. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of control lately, and it seems to be more controlled by the week.
But another area of interest, really, what I focus on the website is trying to make people realise the process of, for example, registration with your car. When you register your car, the word registration means to beg to hand over ownership of. If you're begging, it's assumed you know what you're begging for. So you hand your car over to the DVLA and you get your V5 document says you're the registered keeper. So it's quite clear that you're not the owner anymore. So all you've done is basically given permission for the DVLA to come and take away your car because you haven't paid your tax. If the DVLA didn't own the car, then they couldn't take it because it would be theft.
So when a police officer stops me in the car and says, "Are you the owner of this car?"
You say no, the DVLA is. And the DVLA are the ones that are supposed to pay the parking tickets. It's the owner of the vehicle that pays parking tickets.
I'm just the registered keeper.
That's right. You're just looking after the vehicle. And they can take it away. It's
So the ticket doesn't go on the operator of the vehicle, it goes to the owner of the vehicle.
It goes to the owner, so send it to the owner.
You're just the operator.
That's right.
And it's not even your vehicle.
No, that's right. You're just engaging in commerce.
So is there any way we can... well, I mean, I do know there is a way.
Yes, there is.
that we can operate our
we
vehicles.
can talk about claim of rights and whatnot, but
can we operate our vehicles
a more
on the road?
serious thing I wanted to talk about, which leads on from the registration process, is the same applies with people's children. And you register your children to the government by form of birth certificate. You register a birth certificate, and all you've done is given permission for social services to come and take away your kid.
Yeah, your child becomes
It would be kidnap,
a ward of the
otherwise.
state, isn't
That's
it?
right. That's right. They're not your kids anymore. You've handed over ownership of them. And this is a serious thing that people seem to overlook.
Now this is all to do with the how the name is presented on the birth certificate, isn't it? Because
It is.
capital letters mean a lot different from small case letters, aren't there? There's a legal difference, a legal and lawful difference.
Correct. So the Mr. or Mrs. gives the entity a title. Nothing exists in law unless a piece of paper says it actually exists. So in order for a human being to exist in law, there needs to be that piece of paperwork.
Right.
Well, of course, we know that that human being exists because we can see it with our own eyes. So you don't actually need to register. They do try and force you to register, which is illegal because they can't force you to sign anything. But I mean, it's just a huge deception, and it's never discussed about on TV or anything.
Yeah, yeah. And I've noticed on the bottom of the birth certificate it also says this cannot be used for ID.
That's
which
right.
Is
And it's a
referring to
copy
your
as well.
name.
It says it's a copy. So why have we only got the copy of it? I mean, it's
Yeah.
an instrument that's being used against us. It makes you a bonded slave. It makes you a legal entity. All caps fiction. Your name comes in all capital letters. Like on a gravestone, it's because you're legally dead at the age of 7.
Yeah, this
And,
is the system they brought in during the fire of London. They used the fire of London as a smoke screen to bring this system in, and it's to do with maritime law, isn't it?
That's right.
And that if you don't pronounce that you are not dead within 7 years of your birth, then you are considered dead and chattel property.
That's right. And obviously also a person is defined as a corporation, in Black's Law Dictionary. But a corporation quite clearly does not have the same rights as a human being. So in order to claim back your rights, you need to enter courtrooms as a human being. And that means not entering in maritime jurisdiction. That means not going into the dock, as it were. Not being a vessel and docking.
So that's the maritime connection, the vessel
right.
and the docking.
That's right. I mean, the best way to do it is to not stand under common law and not to stand under their jurisdiction in court.
And stand under common law
That's right.
instead.
Stand on your own grounds.
No, I believe there's a lot of instructional videos and websites available to help you to help anybody learn this process and to go about this thing in the correct manner. But there is also a lot of misinformation out there as well.
There is, absolutely, of course. I mean,
but you've got to sift through it, and you've got to educate yourself on
gotta work it out
the
yourself,
whole
really.
deception and work it out for yourself and find your truth.
Yeah, you've got to work it out yourself. I mean, like you say, there is loads of information out there. What do you read? Where do you turn to?
Yeah.
I mean, just go with whatever your instinct tells you.
Don't believe a word you hear.
Yeah,
Not
that's
even
right.
from here. Do your own research.
That's right,
Yeah, do your
absolutely.
own research.
Yeah.
So I believe there's some other issues you want to talk about.
Well, I mean, I just wanted to again elaborate on the child stealing by the state fact. I mean, I've been working with Brian Garish for quite a while.
Who's Brian Garish?
He runs an independent newspaper called the UK Column. Well, him and his team. It's not just him. And they've been exposing the child stealing for years, and it's becoming a serious issue. So, I mean, the end game is the government want all children to be brought up by the state. They want to break up the family, which is key to their goal in achieving this new world order. And social services are just part of the puzzle, really, because I mean they're getting paid like 28,000 quid every time they take a child away. There's a conflict of interest going on when there's money involved and child issues.
That's an extreme amount, isn't it? £28,000.
Of course,
What on earth can that be financing?
Well, who knows? But I mean, the ultimate goal is really the breakdown of society in general. And in order to break down society, you need to break down the family.
Fracture it.
Yeah.
Fracture the family unit. It's sad, isn't it?
Keep everyone living at home, scared of going out into the outdoor world. Everyone living in one-bedroom flats.
What can we do about this? Because we hear a lot of
Well,
websites. We hear a lot of websites about talking about the problems and moaning about the negative side. But what are the positive things we can do to make a change to stop this fracture of the family unit?
Well, the best thing is get connected with other people. Start talking about these issues. Start doing things with other people with with the same sort of ideas.
So joining groups,
yeah,
Facebook
go out and do
groups.
free hugs. The community centre was a great way of connecting people that that were fighting things, not because they've got a financial incentive, but because they want to do this for the community. All these people took out time from their lives. They've all got to work. We've all got to pay our way. We've all got our bills to pay and everything. And these people were choosing to do this because they felt it was the right thing to do.
But there's a lot of people got together that wouldn't have normally got
That's
together.
right. But
Shared ideas.
It's just a shame that the council have sort of made these people out to seem like they're dull scum and whatnot.
No, they're not.
And
They're not.
it saddens me really that these people's passions are sort of getting knocked in such a way, and we're getting fines for £1,400 for trespass and trespass on a public property.
Anyway, we digress a little. We
of
were on
course.
about
Yes.
sharing information and how people can what we can do to put these situations right.
You just have to find your voice. You need to stop watching your TV.
Yeah, that's the big one, isn't it? Turn the television off, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Because look at the stuff. I mean, everyone says, I haven't got time. Have you done this yet? I haven't got time. Have I got round to that now? I haven't got time. And the reason we all haven't got time is the television.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the majority
It's a massive distraction from
the television.
Really...
What we're doing, we're postponing our own lives, and we're watching other people's lives, which aren't even really. It's just a soap opera, like EastEnders, or
It's a form of Star Wars.
Many others are available.
These are cult members worship the sun. That's a star. And nowadays, everyone tunes into The Voice and Britain's Got Talent all on the same time on Saturday night.
Yes.
And all worshipping stars.
Well, not all. I mean, there's a lot of people who have given up their television already, isn't there? And they've found their lives again, and they've regained their lives, and
that's a great thing with the internet, that people can now actually choose what they want to watch rather than being dictated. This is what's on telly. You've got to watch this. There's actually a complete wide choice of things you can watch. It's completely.
I've been 2 years.
Use your own imagination to whatever you.
I've been 2 years without a television now, and I've never felt so free in my life.
Best thing I've ever done.
And I don't have to pay a TV license anymore. I don't have to think about breaking the law by not paying the TV license and carry on watching it.
Well, actually, you're not breaking the law by not paying your TV license. You're breaking the law if you do pay a TV license.
Oh.
What I'm going to tell you now, if anyone that's listened to this carries on paying their TV license after this, is actually breaking the law. And I'll explain. If you read the BBC Royal Charter, it says that the BBC is to be independent and they're not to receive any funding or any support from any outside agencies. Well, the BBC receives funding from the European Union, which is in breach of these BBC Royal Charter provisions. So, by actually paying your TV licence, or in fact by the TV licence officer being at your door, you are actually committing treason. The TV licence is giving comfort to traitors of the United Kingdom, and you, by paying it, are giving aid to traitors of the United Kingdom.
Wow, I didn't know that.
You're actually committing treason if you do pay it. So now anyone that's aware of this knowledge shouldn't actually be paying it any longer.
So there we go.
You would just explain that to the TV licence officer, and they've left me alone for years.
At the door?
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's another reason not to watch your television. Once you have got rid of your television, you really have got a choice of entertainment, and you've got more than one supplier, or more than 5 suppliers. There is a massive information out there that people have been waiting to hear for years, and these unanswered questions that we've had in our heads for years, and the answers are all out there. If you've got anything towards about society that you've got an answer that you've got a question that needs answering, go online.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I would say Google it, but don't use Google anymore. Google have betrayed us, and they want to betray us even more. They want to follow everything you're doing. So go to Google and look for independent, safe search engine.
What is it you use?
I use Xpix.
I use startpage.com.
Sorry, Xquix.
Xquix. Yeah.
Xquix. And you use
startpage.com.
Startpage.com.
And your IP address is anonymous and everything else.
So the powers that be can't see what you're looking at, and
right.
Because they don't like it. They don't like it because
there's a lot
it's a slippery slope towards them losing control.
That's right.
And us gaining control.
That's right. I mean, they're just slowly creeping up this totalitarianism, aren't they? And the internet is one of their biggest fears, I think, because the truth is coming out there on the internet, and there are millions of people that are watching this stuff with interest, and I think the government are scared. So the only way, really, which is what they are doing, is trying to control the internet. You know, we see all these things being pushed through, SOPA and Stop Online Piracy Act, and PIPA, Protect IP Act, an ACTA, Anti-Counterfeit Trade Agreement. We see all these things being pushed through, which will control our freedom of speech, really.
Yeah. So what else have you got on your website then, Chris?
I've got some photo galleries from some of the things I've been up to with Occupy and whatnot. I've got photos of, for example, the coincidence between all the album covers, music album covers. There's
an awful lot of symbolism, isn't there?
Yeah, pyramids and all-seeing eyes, and it's quite obvious when you actually see them, so they're worth having a look at.
I mean, you talk about an all-seeing eye. I mean, anyone's only got to look at the screen now and they see the Freedom Radio Bournemouth all-seeing eye. So, but anyone should notice it's a right eye, which symbolises the right brain, which is where all our love comes from, and our compassion and our empathy.
I'm glad you cleared that up, because I was going to ask you that.
Yeah. But I'm not the first. I'm not the first to use it, and it's the reasons are totally good. It's to gain people's attention, really, and obviously the more listeners the better, and to get this information out. So it's totally innocent, believe me. But yeah, there's an awful lot of symbolism on the album covers, isn't there? And it goes back a long way, doesn't it?
And then when you do spot it, when you do see it, you see it everywhere. You see it on corporation logos. You just see it absolutely everywhere, don't you? Or just look at the DVLA. I mentioned the DVLA earlier. Just look at their logo. It's a pyramid.
Yeah.
You know, it is everywhere when you see it. So.
Yeah, and MI5 have got it as well.
Of course, yeah, and they've got the all-seeing eye at the top of the pyramid as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and even their building's shaped like it, isn't it? But this stuff's been going on for years in the music industry, hasn't it? I can remember when I was a kid, I used to listen to Iron Maiden. I was well into my rock music, and never thought anything of it. And since I met Chris and he's brought my attention to symbolism on album covers, I started looking back at my old, Google images. Well, yeah, I've been looking at images on the net about of the album covers, and it was all there, and it's all sinking into my psyche throughout my life up till now, and
it's all been in your subconscious mind before, and all I've done is to bring it into your conscious mind so that you're actually aware of it now.
Yeah.
Rather than before, it would have made you feel suppressed, perhaps, having this eye and this feeling at the bottom of the pyramid.
Yeah, it's like once you educate yourself.
They always make out this room at the top still, but there's not. They've got their chosen leaders.
Yeah.
And there's no more room at the top for us guys. So what we need to do is turn the pyramid upside down and put the power of the people at the top.
Yeah. And then there'll be always room for another step.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. It's like any pyramid scheme. I mean, I can remember being part of Clean Easy.
Oh yes.
Clean Easy. I mean, years back when I was struggling with employment, me and the mother of my kids, my partner at the time, we did Clean Easy, and we used to go out together and delivering kitchen and household products around people's houses, door to door, and taking the orders. But that's part of a pyramid scheme. We'd have to go to a meeting once a month, and everything was fine until I mentioned the legalities of pyramid schemes, because it was the week that it all changed, and they didn't really want to go onto that subject, and the following month it had all disappeared. The phones weren't being answered. The people's house that we went to for these meetings, they'd moved. So it just goes to show that they know exactly, these people know exactly they're running a pyramid scheme, they know it's illegal. But I'm just saying that these pyramid schemes are everywhere, aren't they?
Oh, of course they are.
And
they,
these
they
people,
do give you the illusion that
there is room at the top.
Rags, quick way to riches.
Yeah, I mean, I got given the illusion, that there's always, there's always space at the top for someone else, and you can rise through the ranks quite easily. And
problem is everyone starts at the bottom, and there's always going to be the people above them in a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
That are always earning the commissions that you're earning.
Yeah.
And you're never going to earn the same as what they're getting.
No.
It's just a sliding scale really, and the rich are just getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. I mean, it's been said many times, isn't it? But people can't see that happening.
The control works on the money, doesn't it? They make us reliant on the money, and they make us lustful for the products that the money can buy us. And if we can get rid of the love of money and get back to basics and for the love of life,
that's right,
then the control mechanism has just disappeared overnight, really, hasn't it?
I mean, again, the money system, it's just a distraction, really. It takes the emotions out of, working with people. If say I make a nice table for someone, and in return they make me, and I do them a really good job on this table, then they're going to do me a really good job for whatever they do for me,
Well, it's like
and also I see the emotion. I see that they're pleased with what I've done for them. With money, you just lose all that completely.
It's a bit like what we're doing now. I mean, this radio show, I don't get paid for it. This is my hobby. And if I was probably getting paid for it, I'd be looking at the clock now thinking, yeah, I'll knock off in an hour. But I'm not doing that because I'm not getting paid, and I'm we're just flowing with it, and it makes work so much more enjoyable, doesn't it?
I mean, when I finish this, I go home and carry on doing the same sort of things anyway, the same sort of activism work. So it's not really work for me. It's just ingrained in me. It's and I'm sure the same with you. Really, it's just you just become the message, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I still do. I do have a job. I'm on call and I work in the domestic sector, but it does give me time to do stuff like this. And I've chosen my career so I can expand my hobbies a little bit more.
I mean, that's right. I mean, likewise, I'm self-employed. I'm fortunate enough to work from home building websites. And that does me. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of people aren't in a situation where they can go out and do some activism work or whatnot. They just feel drained after doing, their slave labour 9 to 5 every day. Yeah. And then they get home and they've got, put the kids to bed and they want a beer. They want to sit down
and watch EastEnders.
And they haven't got time for anything else. They've got to pay all their bills as well and everything else that fits into the.
But you can break that cycle so easily. Just switch off the television and move back to the television subject. That situation can be broken so easily. That cycle. Switch off the television. Get rid of it. And take the televisions out your child's rooms as well.
You'll find plenty of stuff to watch on the internet. You can find links on my website. And,
there'll be plenty of interesting stuff during the Queen's Diamond Jubilee this year on YouTube. So look at the right-hand column. If you just put in Diamond Jubilee on the Jubilee Day, look at the right-hand column and you'll find very interesting stuff that can lead you on to lots of other interesting subjects. I know that's one of the ways that I was brought into this game this time last year with the marriage of Kate and William. I looked at the sidebar on YouTube and found some very interesting stuff, and then ended up going to a talk at the cellar bar of Boscombe. They do a lot of freedom talks. Went to a talk run by John Witterick, and it was Get Out of Debt Free, and I didn't even believe I was in debt, and it turned out I was. Turns out we all are with the quantitative easing situation with the government,
leave every
banking
child
crisis.
37 grand debt, every child.
Is that how much it is now?
Something like that now.
Blimey. So even if you think
before
you're
you even
debt-free,
start playing the game of Monopoly, you're already in debt.
Yeah, it is like a game of Monopoly, isn't it? That's how John described it to me, the game of Monopoly. And it's basically the way to win in the game of Monopoly is to not pick up the dice in the first place.
Right. Yeah.
That is,
learn the rules.
Learn the rules. And the banker doesn't want you to know the rules.
So his website, actually, getoutofdebtfree.org, is absolutely brilliant for helping people with debts, and it's template letters and all sorts on there.
Yeah, it's a good website. He's just had it upgraded. It's fantastic. So that's getoutofdebtfree.com. Getoutofdebtfree.org, and the guy's name is John Witterick. Lovely guy. He works in the mental health sector in Boscombe and Bournemouth. A really, really nice guy. Or you go onto YouTube and put John Witterick in there,
You did a great talk to the British Constitution group about 6 months ago.
Yeah, you're something to do with the British Constitution
That's right.
group, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of one of the coordinators, as it were, just a volunteer, sort of help get things going.
Okay.
And try and publicise it and whatnot.
Okay, how long have you been doing that now?
Oh, coming up 2.5 years, I think now.
Right.
So yeah, that's been quite a passionate thing of mine.
Okay, I'd like to pick your brains about that a little bit more after this next song you brought in. This is Nate. This is a UK freedom artist.
He is, yes.
And what's the song called?
And the song is called New World.
Okay, so this is New World by Nate.
And again, it's the same record label, Global Faction. They've got hundreds and hundreds, so it's worth checking out.
Okay, here it is. Nice.
You see, most really don't want change. They're afraid no revolutionists came without blood stains. What you live for is certainly what you die for. Resonates in your inner core forevermore. See, nothing's new under the sun. Life is a cycle. Past lives had to fight for survival. Most are still disciples and slaves to their master. If you can't see the problem, you won't find the answer. A wise man knows that he doesn't know everything. World wars reach your doors over melanin or resources. The greatest fight is within. The change starts with you to escape this worldly sin. I overstand not everybody's on the same page. It's a lonely road to see this planet engage. So I stay strong for what's next to come. I ain't afraid to start the change, it only starts with one.
All it takes is one word, one event, one verse to change people's mentality so we can heal the earth. No more war, no more hurt, no more fire, no more curse, no more killing, no more humans living in reverse. All it takes is one word, one event, one verse to change people's mentality so we can heal the earth. No more war, no more hurt, no more fire, no more curse, no more killing, no more humans living in reverse. All it takes is one action to cause a mass reaction. How can you live in this world and show no compassion? We need to burn distractions, heal the world like Michael Jackson. So we teamed up again alongside Global Faction. Listen up, you might find your purpose through these rhymes. My mission is simple, is to help these youths to shine. Cause now they get left to die in these heartless times. It really makes me sad cause they got no value for life. We need to play our part cause false idols are chatting far, keeping our young people negative, stuck in the dark. We need that instant spark to help us all kickstart that integrity that runs all throughout our hearts. It's time to rise up and demand a conclusion. If you don't, you will get lost in the land of illusion. Try to overstand and filter out pollution. It only takes a single thought to start a revolution. All it takes is one word, one event, one verse to change people's mentality so we can heal the earth. No more war, no more hurt, no more fire, no more curse, no more killing, no more humans living in reverse. All it takes is one word, one event, one verse to change people's mentality so we can heal the earth. No more war, no more hurt, no more fire, no more curse, no more killing, no more humans living in reverse. I gotta be honest, cause not everybody is gonna make it. Cause some are content and too comfortable within this matrix. They say change's gonna come, but I'm losing patience. Sam Cooke said that in 64, but this is still enslavement. Since then, tell me, what has really changed? Maybe the technology, but we are still slaves. We need to break free, we need to get away, create a new world so we can see better days. And I ain't talking about no new world orders, I'm talking about the world filled with people without any borders, without any hatred, without any racists. A world without politicians to separate us. That is what we want, that is what we need. A world filled with beauty but without the beast. We need a new world of justice, peace and righteousness. Thoughts don't die, so don't be frightened on what the future brings. All it takes is one word, one event, one verse to change people's mentality so we can heal the earth. No more war, no more hurt, no more fire, no more curse, no more killing, no more humans living in reverse. All it takes is one word, one event, one verse to change people's mentality so we can heal the earth. No more war, no more hurt, no more fire, no more curse, no more killing, no more humans living in reverse.
Yeah, that's cool, isn't it? Yeah, that's available on your website as well, is it?
It is, yes. I mean, they give away their music. They don't sell any of it. You know, they'd rather get as many people to enjoy it as possible.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So let's get back onto the British Constitution Group subject. So you've been an organiser of them for a
about
while.
2.5 years.
About 2.5 years, yeah. So how do you get involved?
How did I get involved? That's an interesting question. I don't really know the answer to that one. It just kind of happened.
Oh, right. So you have a lot of guest speakers coming to the British Constitution Group?
Talking on various issues. I mean, we meet every fortnight at the Durley Dean Hotel. Our numbers vary, but they're usually around 80 people, something like that.
And that's the Durley Dean Hotel in the Triangle of Bournemouth. East Cliff, Bournemouth, yeah.
And we have various speakers talking on chemtrails, for example, or cancer, which is one of my keen sort of.
You want to talk about cancer?
I do, yes, I do indeed. I need people really to realise that they need to take charge of their own health. They can't trust the doctors to do it. There are many cures out there for cancer, but there's no money in it, which is why they've got no interest in pushing these things out. They can't get a patent for these, for these natural cures. I can list a few if you want. Is SCAC oil, which was developed by a lovely lady called Rennie Cassie, and persecuted for years for for curing people from cancer. And her cure, SCAC oil, is available. There's also a foundation where you can get SCAC tea. It's just a mix of 4 herbs, like bark from trees, things like that, really.
Where can you buy this stuff?
Well, like I say, it's free if you phone the helpline, phone the Rennie Cassie helpline.
Okay.
And then they'll send you a few months' supplies worth for nothing.
Where can people get hold of this number, Chris?
They can have a look online. They'll find the foundation online.
Okay, so it's the Rennie Cassie Foundation.
Yeah, that's right. And SCAC oil is her name spelt backwards. But there are other things like apricot seeds. Again, another really cheap preventative for cancer.
Yeah.
It's far easier to prevent these. The industry wants to give everyone cancer. There are so many people making a huge amount of money from it. More people are making a living than are dying from it.
It's an industry, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Just like Big Pharma, they don't try and cure people. If they were to cure people with these tablets, then they'd be in the business of putting themselves out of business. Yeah. They'd lose money. So what they need to do is get you on tablets and keep you on them.
Yeah, people really need to wake up to this, don't they? That they're being sold things all the time. It's not necessarily for the good of them. It's more for the good of the corporations supplying these products.
The talk last week was called "The Marketing of Madness," and it was all about how we're all being made to believe that we're mad and we need tablets for this and tablets for that.
I mean, it starts from school, doesn't it? I mean, they're diagnosing kids with AD this and ADH that, ADD, and
society is all too keen to point its finger at these children and say there's something wrong with you, rather than looking at itself and pointing the finger at itself and saying there's something wrong here in general.
Yeah.
There's something happening. It's really disturbing, really.
Yeah.
Just seeing people around you. Everyone knows someone who's dying from cancer. And the stats are going to go up next year. They're saying 1 in 2 people next year.
Okay.
It's 1 in 3 at current. I mean, that's disturbing.
Yeah, it is.
These sort of things aren't being discussed. It needs to be brought into the open domain, public domain, and
there's further information about this on your website, is there?
There is, yeah.
And
but bearing in mind, I would heavily recommend anyone to read the 1939 Cancer Act, and especially the first line, the first sentence is all you need to read, really, and it makes it quite clear that it's illegal to cure cancer. And this was passed in 1939. What were they doing legislating on these things back then?
Blimey, that's a long time ago to be legislating on cancer when it wasn't.
Well, they've been preparing for it for a while. I mean, it's just one of the tools they're using to reduce the population, which is one of their major goals. They want to reduce the population by some 95%.
What's your opinions on the cures?
Georgia Guidestones, for example, you'll see that they want to reduce the population to 500 million.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
what's your balance with nature? They call it.
I mean, the causes of cancer. We're lied to on that as well, aren't we?
It's a deficiency. It's a vitamin B17 deficiency, and they've withdrawn it from over 6,000 products in the supermarkets. And there are so many tribes around the world that don't get cancer because they simply eat the whole seed of the fruit. You're always told to spit out the seeds. Everyone just does it. I don't know why. Yeah,
don't eat your apple seeds because you'll have I remember being told as a child, don't eat your apple seeds because you'll have a tree growing in your tummy, which is absolute bullshit.
Eat the whole thing.
Yeah, eat the whole thing. I mean, especially the seeds.
Yeah.
And
but they don't want people knowing this. They don't want people to know this, because then they say there is going to be a big overpopulation issue. You know, I've got debates about that. I think this world can provide for us all.
Yeah.
You know, but we're just not doing it efficiently enough. We're not doing it in the right way.
Yeah.
You know, there's all sorts of ways of vertical farming, for example. You know, there are ways that we can produce enough food and be environmentally friendly. And
Yeah, we don't need to reduce the population.
I'm not calling for sustainable development either.
No. The green agenda, the Agenda 21, which stands for Agenda 21st Century, is a very dark and deceitful organisation,
Absolutely.
to say the least. They're trying to... I mean, they say they want sustainability, but it's sustainability for corporations, so they can sustain the activities of corporations. It's not to sustain our lifestyles, it's to strip our lifestyles back, to give the corporations more room to move and to expand.
That's right, and they're pushing this fear-mongering that it's going to be the end of the world and we're going to destroy the planet, and we have to, this carbon tax thing, you know, we've all got to pay carbon tax to these companies for petrol, and it's just another excuse to put the prices up on everything. I mean, but they put this carbon tax on petrol, and that means the price of food's going to go up again.
Yeah,
it'll go on everything, and
it's like whitewashing, but it's actually greenwashing. We've been greenwashed.
That's right.
With these global issues.
I mean, rather than using oil, there's plenty of alternatives to using oil. I mean, there's loads of free energy devices out there, you know.
Free energy is a big one.
But again, it's another thing the government don't want us to know.
Yeah, but there's some big change about to come to that in June and July. So with free energy, there's going to be a South African manufacturer release free energy into the public domain. So keep your eyes out for that.
Sounds positive. I'm excited.
Yeah. They're using yes, Dave. This is Periguin from Boscombe. He's just slipped in during the break.
You mentioned South Africa. I'm from Zambia originally, but I spent time in South Africa, and I saw there when the clockwork radio, the British inventor invented the clockwork radio.
Yeah, the wind-up.
And when I mean, it made so much difference, because you don't realise how big Africa is.
Yeah.
And just batteries. We used to put batteries out in the sun to recharge them, to what, you know, when your batteries are dead, you put them out in the sun, try and get them in. Now you've got communities spread out over Africa, and it's vast, the distances. People complain about driving to Scotland from Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Yeah? We drive for days and days and days continuously exchanging, the driver.
Yeah, it's a big place.
It's a big place. So when I mean it's, when it comes to AIDS, it's the distribution of condoms which is the difficulty.
Right.
Yeah? And also when it comes to
so obviously the
energy, the programs, the radios, obviously the kids are listening, homeschooled and with radio lessons and everything. I saw the introduction of the clockwork radio. Not only did it affect the health of the nation, the communication skills, the relationships. So Mandela, or Bapu as he's called in South Africa, which just means father, he bought loads of clockwork radios.
And that's just, I mean, you look what you can do.
And that is just.
You look what you can do to a society just with a clockwork radio. If you've got free energy, you can run vehicles off of and manufacturing off of. Look at what the economy can do. Look at what it can do to the domestic social scene. It just revolutionises it. It brings information to people's doors for free.
Free energy is one of the things that can really change the world. It's just one of the. It will have the biggest impact, in terms of oil and destroying the planet and cutting down trees and everything else. It can make a big difference, and again, it's not another topic that's not being discussed.
Yeah.
And it should be the primary discussion.
Yeah. So back to the British Constitution group. What other speakers have you had on there?
Oh, all sorts. We've had members of UKIP. We've had. I'm trying to think actually. Lots and lots, hundreds.
Yeah. I've been there a couple of times myself, and it's very interesting stuff indeed. Yeah.
Albert Burgess, who's a retired police officer, he's spoken a few times. Brian Garish in the UK column. We've had Charlie Veitch even.
Good old Charlie.
That's right.
That was, I believe, that was before opinions changed on Charlie by a lot of people.
Of course.
Yeah. So, but he's, I just believe Charlie's just as vulnerable as the rest of us. And,
he just couldn't resist taking that bit of money from the BBC. That's what it was. He couldn't resist.
Yeah, well,
I'm sure everyone's got their own opinions on what actually happened, and there's only one person that knows the real truth, and that's Charlie. And at the end of the day, he's still a human being and a dear soul. So,
No, and
Give him a break,
he's done
people,
some
give him a
wonderful
break.
work as well. He's really woken up hundreds of thousands of people.
So it can't be that bad. Yeah. So I mean, what was the reception like to? I mean, when did you have Charlie on?
Oh, it was about 2 years ago now.
Oh, 2 years.
Like
So
that.
I mean,
and we did go and do a protest after the talk. I mean, the talk's on YouTube, and we did do a protest afterwards around Bournemouth, outside McDonald's, for example, and that was very interesting. It's called the Bonhomie of Bournemouth on YouTube, if anyone's interested.
The
Bonhomie
of
Bournemouth. Yeah, it'd be on the Sea Beach channel, no doubt it'll still be on there.
Oh, brilliant. I've not seen that myself, actually. I'm going to have a look shortly at that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see all these different things going on in the Bournemouth community, you know.
Yeah, so if anyone's interested in hearing more interesting topics, how often do you have your meetings at
Every fortnight.
Every fortnight.
Yeah.
So when's the next one?
It's the first and third Thursdays of every month.
Okay.
In the Daily Dean.
Yeah, and is there an entry fee?
Yeah, it's usually between £2 and £4.
And that's just
to cover
covers
the room cost and any transport fees for the speaker, and we usually buy him a main meal.
Yeah, and there's loads of information you can pick up down there. There's DVDs and newspapers, all on the freedom subject. Well, thanks for coming on this week, Chris.
That's all right. It's a pleasure.
And thank you, Periguin.
Thank you.
If anyone else would like to come on and talk about any subjects that they can't get aired anywhere else on the media, on mainstream media, then come here and you can speak your mind on the show. You've only got to message me on this forum on YouTube. People, you've got to get involved in things. We are going to have change, with the changes coming, but you must get involved. We are looking for a lot more people to get involved in the movement and push things forward. We need you. We need your help. If you've not, I mean, there's so many things you can get involved in. I mean, even down to a basic level, you can just go and listen to other people sharing the information. You can go along to the British Constitution group. You can switch off your telly and have a look at YouTube and sift through the stuff there. Get involved with a bit of local activism. See what's going on at your local courts. Keep an eye on the papers. Put Occupy Bournemouth into your internet or Bournemouth activism. There's hundreds of ways of getting involved. Don't sit there bored watching television. Switch it off. Get out there. Get involved. Thank you for listening. Join us again next week on Freedom Radio Bournemouth. Until then, look after yourselves. Much love. Namaste.